The idea was created from the 30th birthday of Fall for Greenville. So we wanted to have some kind of a celebration type thing, and that's when we decided to do the cake decorating contest. Well, we began the contest on Friday night with the media contestants, and we had Bon Secours St. Francis Hospital Health System there with Faith and her helper. And we had the Greenville Journal. We had Michelin on Main with the Michelin Man. We had My 102.5, Magic 98.9, the Greenville News, which was the winning cake, WYFF, WSPA, Fox Carolina, and Whistle, or WSSL 100. And then on Saturday morning, we started with the professionals. And the professionals were the Sugar Studio, Melissa Thomas Cakes, Kit's Cake, Couture Cakes of Greenville, and Stroessner's Bakery. Then that afternoon we went into the amateur competition, and that was Melissa Wright, Angie Allison, Mary Lee Ann Vermillion, Susie Taft, Lib Street, and Danielle O'Neill.
You couldn't have a helper. You had to do it all yourself. You only had 1 hour, which concerned me when it was first. I was calling all the time with questions about what I could do as far as prep went.
Now you have 1 hour to decorate your cake, at which time you will have to put your tools down. We will come by and judge you. We will be walking around, talking with the contestants. We will also help out if you need to, in minor ways, but I'm going to decorate the cake for you. You will be judged on your artistic ability, originality, creativity, and neatness, and straight lines and proportion.
You know, we gave them a raw cake and a bucket of icing, and they could bring their own tools, and we allowed a few decorations to be brought in. So the people that were watching, they saw this raw cake, and then they saw it being iced and stacked and decorated to the final creation, and I think that really sucked them in. They were so intrigued in seeing what the end product was going to be.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper that I might do a scarecrow cake, or with hay bales or something, and then when I found out we had an hour time limit, I switched over to the roses and scroll work, and something I thought I could probably do in an hour. I was still nervous.
I had conceptualized this a little bit in my head, but I had no real idea, other than the size of the cakes, I had no idea what I was working with. So I really went from scratch. As soon as I started icing the cake, I kind of came up with the idea.
Time was a big issue for me. So I decided to go with 2 tiers, and the cake had to read Happy Birthday Fall for Greenville.
All right, so contestants, are you ready for the challenge? All right, let's put 60 minutes on the clock. Ready, set, decorate.
The first half hour was very nerve-wracking for me because I couldn't get the cake smooth, and I was trying to get the cake smooth, and it's icing I had never worked with before. So I just kind of looked around at all of the competition and realized that they weren't 100% smooth either, and moved on. But when I got to the 30-minute mark and I was still mixing icing colors, I was a little bit scared.
So the first half hour flew, and that was all construction for me. And then the second half hour actually was probably just as fast, because that's when I had to put all my decorations on.
Some of the cakes were real creative and real fun. And some of the cakes were real precise, like perfect. They all were so engaged in their cakes, and so they were really serious about it. So that leads me to believe they were very competitive, and they all wanted to win.
I never looked up. And when I started to look up, I noticed there were all kinds of people staring at me. My hands started shaking at one point, and I looked up and I went, why are my hands shaking? And that's when I noticed there were people looking at me going, I don't know, Susan, why are your hands shaking?
I've never decorated in front of an audience. The only audience I've ever had was my children or my family around, and they don't make me nervous. So that was a little nerve-wracking, knowing there was a lot of people out there. I felt a little more pressure that I was running out of time because I didn't have any idea what time it was, so I just was wanting to finish. That was my main priority, is try to finish in the hour.
At 15 minutes, I was only just starting to make my pumpkins and apples. I made those by hand out of a really, really stiff. I brought powdered sugar and conditioned my icing so that I could do that. And they were sitting there waiting just to go on the cake. So at the very last 15 minutes, I was assembling everything. But it went together easily.
Okay, we're down to 2 minutes, contestants. 2 more minutes.
I felt pretty good. I was nervous still, and I kept looking at it, the cake, wondering if I had my lines straight. I was trying to remember the rules, and I wanted to make sure that I had done whatever they wanted me to do.
I was happy with my work, but I knew that I could probably do better, but I didn't think that I could probably do better inside of an hour. So I just thought, I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may. I was a little bit concerned because, like I said, there was some really good originality in the other competitors' work, and I didn't put a lot of Greenville in my cake, whereas the other competitors had built a bridge, had done the city logo, had really worked hard to incorporate the city of Greenville, and I had just incorporated Fall for Greenville. So I was a little bit worried about that.
So we have 1 minute left, contestants. 1 more minute to go.
I had no time to spare. When he said, time's up, I put my bag down, and I was decorating right until that time.
All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please put your piping bags down. All right, I'm going to hand for all the contestants today. They did great. They did great. First place, Angie Allison.
Well, actually, when I heard the second and third runner-up, I was like, oh well, I'm done. I really wasn't expecting my name to be called, and when they called it, it took me a second, and I was like, what, me? Because it was just, I was in shock, but I was very excited. I was just in shock that they picked my cake.
All right, so we do have a winner, and it was a tough decision. The Greenville News.
Well, I was happy. That was the first contest I've ever been in, and this is the first time I've ever won. And it was just so much fun to be down there. I didn't really care at that point whether or not I'd won or lost. I was just happy to be done and happy that the cake turned out decent. And it was really fun. I had a great time.
Okay, and first place, Stroessner's Bakery.
Oh, I was elated. I was tickled pink. It was great. It was great. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to put my best effort out. But it was fun. And if I hadn't won, it would still have been fun. I enjoyed my other competitors. I got to know them a little bit before it started. And the people who ran the event were very friendly and helpful, and the crowd seemed to love it, you know. So yeah, it was great.